I'm not scared of you. Oh, look at this. Nope. I'm not going to evolve, and that is good game for the honeycombs. Hello and welcome back to another installment of Poke Fodder. I've kind of got a new league deck. I don't know for sure that I'm going to uproot my entire league deck for the one you see here, but you know me. I get tired of running the same deck over and over, and I imagine that if I were to continue just to run the same deck over and over and over, you guys would kind of get tired of watching my videos. And I feel like, from the comments on Discord, I feel like one thing that you as the viewer enjoy about coming to the Poke Fodder channel is that I will throw different kind of decks together and kind of go over some of the different Pokemon, different ways of doing things. Maybe you don't get that from every Pokemon Duel YouTuber or streamer out there. I know a lot of people like to switch it up. Me personally, I just think that it would make boring videos if I ran Deoxys and every video I came in here and said, let's play 2 games with Deoxys. I feel like nobody would really watch that after maybe the first 3 minutes because it's kind of boring. So here's what we have. Let's go over just briefly a little bit, because as you can see, I do have elements of grass/tropical, but then I do have 2 of the new Pokemon. So let's take a look at what these 2 new Pokemon are, what they do, why I think they may work in a deck like this. The first Pokemon I want to look at is Combee. This is a bug flying type that has a 3 MP moving, so it's a runner. It does have a 10 miss, which is kind of high. I'm not gonna lie. Well, it's 12, and it'll get down to 8 at level 5. Uncommons are pretty easy to level up to 5. It doesn't take a lot of resources. I can't remember exactly how much gold it takes. Maybe 50,000, probably not even quite that much, 45, 35, 45, somewhere in there. You can easily get this one powered up to level 5 if you think it's worth it. The ability is Thicket Slip, and if that sounds familiar, this Pokemon can MP move through grass-type Pokemon on the field. That rings a bell, right? Leafeon? Same ability. That is why I have Phantump, Grovyle to Sceptile, and Virizion in the deck that you saw. And truthfully, I probably, on a deck like this, because Combee has a 10 attack, it's pretty weak. Going from Grovyle to Sceptile might not be the best. It may be best just to start off at Sceptile because Combee is weak and you're running 2 of them. Still kind of trying to work out the details on that, but as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking maybe just running the full evolution. The thing is while I always encourage running at least 1 evolution on your team, and I encourage you trying different things, if you run a team full of evolutions, once you trigger them, you're going to have an incredibly monstrous team. You just leave yourself really weak to getting attacks. But 1, 2 Pokemon that evolve, I think is the sweet spot. One for sure. I think you need 1. And then if you have a second one, you're kind of pushing your luck a little. Maybe if you have some plates, something like a Grovyle, or something with a really strong purple that evolves can make that worthwhile. And you're pushing it, but high risk, high reward. Moving on. Looking at the wheel, we already talked about the miss. Sweet Scent is a 1-star purple. 1 Pokemon within 3 steps range is drawn 1 to 2 steps closer to this Pokemon and gains weight. Very similar to Draining Wind on Yveltal. The difference is you don't get a -1 MP marker with this. You just move and then gain weight. That is the difference. And this is the and then the 10 attack for 40. So you're about, once you get this leveled up to 5, half the time you will end up hitting the sweet scent. Mew just absolutely dominates this Pokemon. You want to keep that in mind. But should you be able to trigger the evolution, I'm not quite sure how you would do that other than the opponent hitting miss. You know, I mean, the 10 attack is not going to knock out much. You could X attack, so 40 into 30 for Mew, but then again, 50% of your wheel is purple, so attacking into Mew might not be your best options. But should you be able to trigger the evolution, you get Vespiquen. Vespiquen is a rare 2 MP Pokemon that is bug flying with no abilities. Looking at its wheel, this is still level 1, so I haven't leveled it up at all. And it has, what is that, 16 miss. That is a ginormous amount. But at level 5, you will get rid of one of these 2 misses. I'm going to say that you're probably going to eliminate the one between the Defend Order and Power Gym. But having not powered this up at all, I don't know that for sure. 28 Slice Blue, one of your own Combi on the field moves next to this Pokemon. There's a lot that could be useful about that. Moving on. Got a miss. A 24 Slice of Power Gem for 50 attack is 50 is maybe the most common number now. For a while it was 70. I'm starting to lean towards, I think 50 might be the most common number in the game for an attack. Might start rethinking how I do chain level distributions, seeing as how so many new Pokemon come around with 50. Another 4 miss, and then you have this 28 attack order. Damage plus 30 for each of your own neighboring Combi. You're going to do 80. Add on the 30 is going to give you 110, if my math is correct. I'm pretty sure the math is right on that one. And 110 is a decent attack. It's going to do a lot of damage. So a lot of things to like here. On its own, maybe not going to kill a lot. And that is why I'm thinking that maybe just going Grovyle straight to Sceptile instead of using Grovyle might be worth it. Because with Phantump, 2 Combis, and the Vespiquen, there's not a whole lot of offense involved on this deck. Looking at my plates, 2 Double Chance X Accuracy, which that has become my favorite plate. I mean, people say, why not just run a Double Chance? And the reason why I think X Accuracy is better than Double Chance is because there are situations where, we'll just say Virizion here. He's level 5, so only has 4 miss. There are times when and Virizion is not even a good example. We'll skip that. We'll go to Gyarados, because he's probably the best example. If you run Gyarados, then you know the pain of being in a situation where you're like, all that I need to do is not roll miss and I win. And Gyarados has a 12 miss. And if you look at a lot of the newer Pokemon, the Blaziken has 12 miss. Heatran has like 13 miss if it's level 4, or 12 miss if it's level 5. And there's so many situations where you're like, if I just don't roll a miss, I win. And you throw in a Double Chance plate and you go miss. And it happens. Doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. X Accuracy eliminates that. On your Gyarados, when all you have to do is land an attack, you're guaranteed an attack. That is why I like X Accuracy. I actually ran Charmeleon into Charizard last night for a few room matches. And again, X Accuracy was exactly what I needed because Charizard can do so much damage. I think it's a 90 or a 60 spinner. Just don't hit miss and we're good. So that's that. I'm going to go in and make the change. I'm just going to run straight Sceptile. And I may put a second Vesp Queen into the evolution of one of my 2 Combees. I'm going to make those changes, and then I'm going to jump into League play, and we'll be right back. Away we go, and I can tell you right off the bat that we are going to struggle. Yeah, we're going to struggle here because half the team gets banished by the twins. Oh no, you know what? I totally messed that up. I meant to set the evolution, and I just swapped out Vesp Queen. Oops. Zapdos, does he have chain levels on both his Zapdos? That's kind of funny. What do we want to do? We're just going to throw a Vesp Queen over here, since there's no blue. Are both these level 5? Wow. This guy, no, that one's level 4. Okay. So I think we can manage with what we've got here. This guy loves him some, just trying to think here. What do we want to do? He loves him some Zapdos. Okay. He wants to... One, two, three. Okay, so my math wasn't wrong this time. He does have Hurdle Jump, 2 overdrives. That's kind of a scary deal right there. And he has only the 1 grass type in Trevenant. We're going to be doing well if we don't get anything banished today. That is definitely for sure. I guess we can just kind of go in here and see what's up. Obviously nothing. Maybe we should have double chanced. X attack maybe. Maybe. It's going to be one of those kind of games. I can see already that it's going to be like that. But what we'll do is we will X attack. And as you can see, like, by not using my double chance or exit, by not using any kind of a plate to ensure I got a victory from Sceptile into Zapdos, I completely put myself behind the 8-ball as far as how am I going to get out of this now. And the truth of the matter is I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I'm completely pinned in. I've lost 2 Pokemon already. I don't have a whole lot of power out on the field. And it's not getting any better. What we'll do is, again, I probably should have plated. Okay, well, that's... So this was a terrible game by me, whether I win or lose. It was terrible by me because right off the bat, I could not afford to miss an attack. And I didn't use any modifier to ensure that I won. I just blindly ran up and attacked, and that's how you lose. It wasn't, in that situation, it wasn't RNG. It was a terrible play by me. Although, I do get Subtile back out. If I can roll Stealth Hit, he's not going to attack with Zapdos, though. That would be dumb of him. Okay. We have to get in a KO here. And I'm not attacking Reshiram because if he flies, and he is Roost. If he hit Fly, then he could have walked onto my goal. So that would have been bad news all the way around. Very non-entertaining game right here. Alright, so here's the deal. Oh, because you're flying, I can't just hop over. So we'll step back here. Which was dumb. Now I just get my Virizion surrounded. There's misplays everywhere. This isn't a good showing for my deck, and it's really not a good showing for me. You guys get to catch me on one of my really bad, ill-played games. So don't learn, wow. There's no way we survive this, but... Okay, so we did. What do we do? I'm thinking... Could have been played it more safe by bringing Subtile over, but that just does not work. We need the 105. And there you go. The tone of this game, like I said before, was set right at the get-go. I should have double chanced with Subtile, or minimum X attacked with Subtile from the start, and I didn't. And from there, and the reason why is because my team is so weak, I could not afford to take a miss there, to get knocked out. I couldn't afford to get knocked out, and I did not take precautions to ensure that I did not get knocked out. And as you can see, I've not knocked out a single one of his Pokemon, because at this point I'm not even able to set up any kind of a matchup. I'm strictly just kind of attacking whatever. And he doesn't have tropical energy, so he's not going to electrocute me. But at some point, I'm going to have to land offensive on offensive. And I just don't really see me landing like 6 offensive attacks consecutive to clear out all of this. And it would be like the greatest comeback of all times. Although I will say, last night I was doing a room match. And I was up 6-1. With both entries covered, and somehow I lost. That's all he rolls. My opponent took Joltik, ran over, paralyzed one of the entry points, then ran back, knocked out a Pokemon, then ran back and knocked out the Pokemon on the entry point that he had paralyzed. That was a really dumb play by my opponent. Of course, now he might just electrocute them all with the other one. So then he ran back when I moved towards goal and knocked out that Pokemon. Then ran back over and knocked out the Pokemon which he had paralyzed. And then I brought another Pokemon over. Man, I just didn't get any kind of love there. And needless to say, you can see where that's going. He ran over, paralyzed, ran back, knocked out a Pokemon, ran back, knocked out the one on the entry point. I moved another Pokemon onto the entry point. He knocked it out with Garvantula. then ran back, knocked out another point, paralyzed another one, then knocked him out on the next turn. And all of a sudden I had 2 Pokemon on the PC, 2 on the bench, and 2 on the field, and he had 4 on the field. So it is possible, but when you put yourself in a hole, you just can't. I put myself in an impossible position there. So keep that in mind. That's the thing to take away. The deck didn't really show well here. In fact, it really did nothing, quite honestly. But keep that in mind. When you are running a fun deck or you're trying something new, don't get discouraged if you lose right away. But think about, okay, if I lose this attack, what does that mean? And I did not do that from the beginning, and you saw what it meant. And I think sometimes that can really help take you, if you look at the really high level players, when they make plays, they have a backup. If this fails, what happens? And I did not have the backup. My backup would have been using a plate. But they also don't put themselves in a situation where one loss completely snowballs into their being pinned back, their entire team losing, them having no advantages on any attacking fronts. So keep that in mind when you're playing. That is going to do it for today's video. And until next time.